Magomed Ankalaev has to be the most brain dead of fighters I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Hey, I've had my best success fighting Alex Pereira as a southpaw, fighting the lead hand and making sure I took away his left hook, his right hand, his low kicks, the whole 9 yards. Maybe I should switch it up and fight orthodox. Yeah, great. Alex Pereira is the champion again. He destroyed Magomed Ankalaev. Just ran through his quickest fight to date in less than a round. 80 seconds, I think the time was. 1 round. It was an come to Jesus moment for what Alex Pereira is, and that is probably a top 10 fighter of all time. Yeah, he destroyed Magomed Ankalaev. Alex Pereira, top 10 fighter of all time? Yes, I think he is now. I think he's made a case for it. A 3-time champion. He lost the belt, won it back, just proving like the Ankalaev for the first fight. Ankalaev fought well, but Alex Pereira came in and changed what he had to do, and he looked really good in the rematch. Thanks for watching today, guys. Before we get too deep into this episode, in the description, you can subscribe, obviously do that, but there's also a Substack where you can go and get all these directly to your inbox, and a Discord server where you can come in and chat fights on Fight Night. Sign up. So the way that Alex Pereira kind of did this, he immediately came out and pushed the pace. He immediately set the tone of, hey, you're not in control of this fight anymore, Magomed Ankalaev. I'm in control of this fight. Literally, if you watch the first 2 seconds of the fight, Alex Pereira takes command of the center, throws a big right hand to the body, and just backs up Magomed Ankalaev. He wanted Ankalaev on the fence. He wanted Ankalaev to go first, but he couldn't rely on Ankalaev to go first. Ankalaev was completely okay with going second in the first fight. So how did he do that? He had to draw fights. He had to draw reactions out of Magomed Ankalaev. How did he do that? He kicked the legs. He low kicked him. And Ankalaev did not like it one bit. He didn't like it at all, actually. But when Pereira would kick the leg, Ankalaev was like, okay, I can return now. He has a good job of picking up when that shortcut kick that Alex Pereira has is coming. So Alex Pereira said, okay, good. I know if I kick your leg, you're going to come back at me. So he tests the water, he kicks the leg, and then he exits the exchange, and he comes forward a little bit more, really kind of, just feeling the gauge, and he did a good job of pushing him to the fence. Now, that was another big part, wanting to push him to the fence. We knew in the first fight, Alex Pereira suffered when Ankalaev was a southpaw, and basically when Pereira's trying to throw his left hook over the top, he is, met by, Ankalaev, who's sticking out his lead right jab, and he's getting behind his shoulder. Makes the left hook very hard to land. So Alex Pereira said, how am I going to take advantage of that, knowing what he's going to do? And it was really sneaky. He only did it a couple times this fight because he only had to, really. He pushed Magomed Ankalaev to the fence, so I've already taken away the escape. This is what he's done. He did this to Israel Adesanya to knock him out in round 5 in that first fight. Pushes him to the fence. He says, hey, look, here comes my big left hand. And Ankalaev's like, hey, I want to get away from that left hand. So he circles out to his left along the fence, and Pereira comes with a big right hand over the top as he's exiting out. This is the same thing you saw Alexander Usyk do to like Tyson Fury. He would back him into the ropes or into a corner, and he would so Usyk's the southpaw, so he would back him with the right hand, throw a right hook, and then Fury would exit to his right, and Usyk says big left across the top, big leg left to the body. Same thing Alex Pereira did to Ankalaev. That was it. So knowing that the left cross or left hook was negated, got behind his shoulder, leading with the hand fight was important for Pereira, and he did that also early on. He led the fight with his lead hand, kind of tapping, because so southpaw versus orthodox. When Ankalaev was southpaw, he fought both stances in this fight. But when Ankalaev was southpaw, the lead hands are together, like, oh no, and whoever's lead hands on the top, Andre Ward was great at this. Whoever's lead hand was on the top was winning the battle. That right there, switching, the fact that Alex Pereira, I mean, he's a smart fighter, we know that, but the fact that Alex Pereira was able to take away the best weapons from Ankalaev early before Ankalaev could have some time to kind of adjust to the situation of the fight, the way that he took away the lead hand, started kicking the leg, started pushing him back, forced Magomed Ankalaev into, I don't want to say fight or flight, like a panic mode almost, where he's like, all right, so this isn't working. Holy crap, he's coming after me. I have to do something. So he switches to orthodox. Guess what's there? The lead hook. The outside calf kick with the rear leg. You know, because Alex Pereira, he always makes sure to kick the outside. So if you're a southpaw, he's going to kick with his lead hand and have to switch. If you're an orthodox fighter, he can kick the outside of the lead leg with his rear. Ankalaev's in southpaw. And, like, he had this bright idea. Alex Pereira had this bright idea. Like, hey, I watched back my first fight. Have I tried punching him yet? Have I tried punching him yet? And sure enough, Alex Pereira comes over with a huge right hand. And it's crazy, too, because, like, his best success was from being a southpaw. Magomed Ankalaev, that is from being a southpaw. And the pressure and the power and just the sheer going out and getting him that Alex Pereira brought to the table changed this fight. It changed dynamically how this fight was going to be. A brilliant game plan from Alex Pereira. And it was, like, simple, too. Simple. Magomed Ankalaev hated the pressure. Alex Pereira said, I'm bringing the pressure. What are you going to do about it? And Magomed Ankalaev's answer to that is literally like, I'll switch to orthodox. That plays right into Alex Pereira's game. Now, did he expect him to switch to orthodox? Probably not. It's probably not something that, you know, he game planned for. But, like, you fight orthodox fighters your whole career, you can get used to it, you know? The pressure of Alex Pereira absolutely wilted Magomed Ankalaev. And now that he's champion again, everybody wants to know, like, what's next for Alex Pereira, you know? And truly, like, the answer is Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg, obviously, last week is coming off of his win over Dominic Reyes. Knocked him out in, what was that, 2 rounds or something like that? Knocked him out pretty emphatically. 1 round, actually, I believe it was. He runs through Dominic Reyes, and then he decides, oh, okay, what can I do now? You know, it's obviously Alex Pereira. There was either that or the winner of Khalil Rountree and Jiri Prochazka if Magomed Ankalaev won. But Jiri Prochazka won. We're not going to get the Khalil rematch off of a loss to Alex Pereira. Yuri's already down 2 fights to Alex. I have no desire to see that again. Only Max Holloway gets those kind of fights, those unwarranted trilogies. It's got to be Carlos Ulberg. And Ulberg didn't have all the experience and the wins that he needs to be like, oh, yeah, I'm the next title challenger. Like, beating a Dominic Reyes is coming off of a win over Anthony Smith and Dustin Jacoby. As much as I like Dustin Jacoby, it's not... It ain't one of those things, man. Like, I don't know how to actually say it correctly, but, like, that's just not the right kind of win streak you want to see going in fighting a superstar like Alex Pereira. That said, there is precedent for this. Carlos Ulberg trains with Israel Adesanya. So you've got the revenge element. You've got, you know, obviously Israel Adesanya has the most recent, or he won the last fight that him and Alex Pereira fought of the last 4, right? Alex Pereira is up 3-1 on Israel Adesanya. But there is that play there, like, oh, Carlos Ulberg, he's a really good fighter. He's a really good striker. You know, you really could theoretically go and say, all right, we got a Brazil card, let's say in February. Let's finally get Alex Pereira on a pay-per-view in Brazil, and let's have him fight Carlos Ulberg. Okay? And after the fight, he was talking about he wants Jon Jones at the White House. And if you do that fight in February, obviously the White House card is going to be in July for 4th of July, United States 250th anniversary. You could theoretically say, like, oh, yeah, that's that. Okay, he fights Ulberg, stays a little busy, and then he goes fights Jon Jones. And, you know, I don't hate the Jon Jones fight. I don't want to see Jiri Prochazka. Like, I've already seen it twice, and it was worse the second time. But I don't want to see him fight Jiri Prochazka again. Jon Jones is the fight to make. He wants a super fight. That's the super fight. Like, there's no other super fight besides that. That's the one. And then obviously you got the Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane fight coming up here soon. And we won't get too much into it, but, like, I do think I have no interest in seeing Tom Aspinall, who said he would rugby tackle Alex Pereira. Probably the smartest idea. I have no interest really in seeing that, even though it'd be cool to see Pereira go for a third title. But it would be cool to see him if Cyril Gane, who can actually win this fight. We'll talk about that in the 321 preview show in a couple weeks. I think Cyril Gane can beat Tom Aspinall. I don't think he will, but I think he can. Keep that in the back of your head. Remember that. Remember this conversation, because I think it's a danger. And if Cyril Gane does beat him, I look for them to make Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira. I think that's the fight to make. So yeah, Gane, that's a really fun fight, and he realistically can beat Tom Aspinall. Like don't you even think anything otherwise. Now, from the fastest, or I think it's the fastest knockout on the card, to the longest fight of the card, Merab Dvalishvili dominated Cory Sandhagen. Probably, he won via unanimous decision, probably made Merab Dvalishvili the bantamweight. Think about the Titan's shoulders that he stands on. You know, Aljamain Sterling, his training partner, TJ Dillashaw, and of course, Dominic Cruz. All of them have 3 title defenses, including Merab Dvalishvili. Merab has Umar. He won the title from Sean, beat Umar, beat Sean O'Malley, and just beat Cory Sandhagen. That is his 3rd title defense. Also, ties the GOATs of the division, right? Merab did it in less than a year. It's been like 380 days since he won the title from, who did he win it from? Sean O'Malley? Yeah, Sean O'Malley. Yeah, 380 days since he won the title from Sean O'Malley. He's since defended it 3 times. That's less than a year. Wild. It was crazy, too, because, like, Merab has gotten better as a fighter. He was outstruck by Cory early on, but he uses his weapons very, very well. Think about it for a second. Cory Sandhagen is a better striker, and Merab Dvalishvili almost finishes him. And the way he does that is we know what Merab's bringing to the table. Indomitable cardio, just a will to win, right? It was just his will to win. He wanted to go in there and win. And he uses his weapons to make sure he can win. Those weapons being his cardio, his wrestling, and he uses his striking very well to get into wrestling. So you'll see like a lot of knee taps. That's where he like throws a big overhand right, which that makes his left hand like closer to the ground, and he gives him the opportunity to grab the leg on the ground. That's a real big part of Merab's gameplay. He also uses it to get to like body locks and singles to push you to the fence, to slow the fight down and keep it to where he wants to be. We see a lot of like trips off of the fence, and they're great from Merab. You know, he did these things where he's kicking out the feet from the bottom and sitting to his butt into back control, or trying to get back control on Cory Sandhagen. This is something we see from like Islam Makhachev all the time, trips off of the fence. You're in a good position and you can take your time, but if you can trip him off of the fence and, you know, prevent the wall walk, do that. You know, 20 takedowns is what Merab scored in this fight. Now, everybody wants to like celebrate those 20 takedowns, and I do want to like take a step back here and say like, okay, 20 takedowns are great, but that means Cory got up 19 times, 20 times. You know, the control time I'm sure is heavily in favor of Merab, almost none for Cory, if any at all. But he kept getting up. You know, he kept getting up. So that's great. And like the whole Khabib did 21 takedowns against Abel Trujillo, which is the record. Merab was 1 from tying it, but like both of them kept getting up. And you see as late Khabib goes on, like he doesn't give up that position. He doesn't continually like take down, get up, take down, get up, take down. He's trying to keep you there. Merab needs to get to that point. And I'm sitting here pointing out, oh, Merab needs to do this, needs to do that. Like he's not the greatest bantamweight of all time already. Sure. But it's scary to think that he could be better. And we've seen career paths of fighters very, very similar to him get better. And if he becomes what we think he can be, God help the rest of bantamweight. Because looking down the rankings, not very encouraging. He's already beat most of them. You can do a rematch with Petr Yan and Umar. Like that's nothing. But yeah, it's crazy the cardio that he brings to the table. Like he's just never tired. And credit where credit's due. Cory Sandhagen didn't get tired in this fight either. He got hurt, but that's a different story. You know, Cory Sandhagen was prepared for this fight. He had a great game plan, better than anybody, better than Umar, despite Umar being closer on the scorecards. Like Cory Sandhagen, Alexander Lee from MMA Fighting pointed out, like you could really tell that Cory Sandhagen had every part of Merab Dvalishvili's game plan picked out and plotted against perfectly. The amount of get-ups that he had, he didn't get stuck on bottom like Sean O'Malley did. And it didn't matter. See, Cory Sandhagen might be the smartest fighter at bantamweight. He might be. But if we're speaking the truth, just being a smarter fighter doesn't mean you're a better fighter. And Merab Dvalishvili just wanted it more. The striking of Cory Sandhagen, not Sean O'Malley, striking of Cory Sandhagen will be the blueprint to beat Merab in the future. It will be the blueprint of how you beat Merab Dvalishvili. Circling, staying off of the fence, but that's going to be like, I say, blueprint for win, blueprint for if somebody beats Merab. Because he might not lose ever again. He may never lose again, which is wild. The round 2 for Cory, it was disastrous. The optics were terrible. That was a clear 10-8 round. He was hurt, and Merab almost knocked him out. And then Merab just kept mat returning him over and over again. All right, Cory, come on, get up. Oh, you're going back to the ground. Now you have to fight. And that's like taxing on your cardio. And that makes Cory Sandhagen's performance a little bit more impressive, even because, he's gotten taken down. He's had to get up over and over and over and over and over again. If you get taken down, trying to stop being taken down is incredibly hard. It may be harder than getting laid on and defending. Maybe not, but it's to have to do it over and over again like he did was great. He was prepared for every aspect. It didn't matter. And there's literally nobody for Merab Dvalishvili anymore. He tied TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz, Aljamain Sterling. Alessandro Pantoja can come up, but even then, I don't think he wins. The Umar Nurmagomedov and Petr Yan rematches don't intrigue me. I don't see anything from Petr Yan that he's improved enough to beat Merab. I think he would still drown under the pressure of Merab Dvalishvili. And Umar went wrestling for wrestling with Merab. And if Merab was really sick and hurt before that fight, that's Merab's best optic fight. It was crazy. Speaking of crazy, Jiri Prochazka and Khalil Rountree, we talked about him earlier. Jiri Prochazka knocks out Khalil in round 3. Insane fight. And it wasn't insane from all action all the time, if you want to be honest. It was one of those fights where it was okay, we see the holes in Jiri Prochazka's game plan. And Khalil Rountree fought like a wizard for those first 2 rounds. He did a good job not biting on the feints and all the fake movement that Jiri Prochazka does. And you see Tyson Fury doing a lot of the moving and feinting and stuff like that. And it kind of overloads your senses. Khalil's I'm not doing that. Nak Moy Khalil, where he's bringing in, Jack Slack pointed out, a bunch of British Muay Thai fighters, which, Liam Harrison and all of them they're good fighters. But, yeah. Anyways, he didn't bite on the feints. And it was crazy because, Jiri Prochazka didn't give him a reason to have to go first. The Khalil Rountree's best moments were him going after Jiri Prochazka would throw a weird strike. And Prochazka, he's been working on moving his head. And I will say later in this that I don't think Jiri Prochazka showed the improvements, but he did slip a lot of punches. That said, they did have him figured out where, punch the chest and the face would be there because Jiri changes levels when he strikes. But biting on the feints is exactly how Jiri Prochazka normally causes chaos. The punishment of Khalil Rountree really did make Jiri Prochazka question, should I go first here or should I wait for him to go? And that really got him in trouble. He countered with heavy combos, heavy shots, and Jiri Prochazka was very visibly frustrated. Now, there wasn't quite enough low kicks from Khalil. When he did land the low kicks, they worked well against him, but it wasn't enough to really stave off that last shot that, Jiri Prochazka brought to the table. No, if he would have invested in those a little bit earlier, he may have stopped that disastrous last round. I'm not saying he wouldn't have gotten beat up, but he may have gotten out of there with the decision. Jiri Prochazka looked unimproved, a departure from the Hill fight. He looked incredible against Jamal Hill, but I think that says more about how bad Jamal Hill is, more than how much better Yuri Prochazka is. He really did fall back into his old habits. Struggled with his footwork. You know, everybody in the booth was talking about, oh, his legs are hurt. Look, he can't walk right, blah, blah. I think it was just him struggling to find his footing, find his where he needs to be. But then round 3 happened. Round 3 happened. Oh, insane. If you haven't watched it yet, like, first of all, you're casual. Second of all, go watch it. I can't tell you where to find it. It's a pay-per-view, so you probably just go buy the pay-per-view. Wink, wink, for the listeners. Yuri Prochazka knew he was down 2 rounds to nothing. And this is going to go back to what we were talking about with Merab, right? Like, Khalil Rountree is a smarter fighter. More technical. On paper, he should have won that fight. But sometimes a fighter knows they have to go out there and win. Deontay Wilder in round 12, when he knocked down Tyson Fury got up and he knew he had to come in and push the pace, put Wilder on the back foot once he recovered. He had to overcome the fear of, oh, Khalil Rountree is going to counter me, going to batter me. And I have to get in there and hit him. So he took as little damage as he could. But he also knew he had to land big shots. Under that kind of pressure, the same pressure that Alex Pereira brought in round 4 against Khalil Rountree, under that kind of pressure, Khalil Rountree melted. Put him out. Another win for Yuri Prochazka. Probably the greatest knockout artist UFC's ever seen, if you want to know the truth. Him or Francis Ngannou. And that's crazy to think about. Like, Francis is a heavyweight, yeah. But, like, go look at Yuri's record. He wins by knockout almost every time. I think, 32 wins, 36 wins, 28 by knockout, something wild like that. Granted, a lot of those come from, like, Ryzen, which is lower level competition, but, yeah. No title shot. We've already seen Yuri Prochazka lose to Alex Pereira twice, and it really hurts because I love Yuri Prochazka. I think he's a fun fighter, but I don't want to see that. And if they're really hell-bent on, like, not having Alex Pereira fight Carlos Ulberg for whatever reason, fight Ulberg. You know, that should be in fight Ulberg. Even though Ulberg should be fighting Alex Pereira before the White House card. There's nobody really else, though. Johnny Walker, maybe? That's a murder charge, though. You know, like, Yuri Prochazka kills Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker wasn't supposed to win his last fight against Zhang Ming Yang, but he ended up winning it. So, like, let's have a goofy fight. Or if you want a really goofy fight, have Dricus du Plessis come up from middleweight. He's a big guy, 230. That's Alex Pereira size. Have Dricus come up, fight Yuri Prochazka. The GMF fight for the goofiest fighter of all time. Oh, boy, yeah. What else? It's Youssef Zalal. I've tried to tell you about Youssef Zalal before. I did a film study on Youssef Zalal before, and nobody wanted to watch it because it's Youssef Zalal. That said, I've been telling you about this guy. Go watch him. He's impressive. If you don't know Youssef Zalal, let's go over his career real quick here. So let's go over to the web. Let's see. Where are we at here? I'm just able to talk about these fights because they're fantastic, all in all. Youssef Zalal right here, 18-5-1. Don't let that 5 losses confuse you. When he was in the UFC, he lost to Ilia Topuria on short notice. He was supposed to fight Sung Woo Choi. Had a really close fight with Sung Woo Choi, and then had a decision to Sean Woodson, a fight I thought he won. Then a majority decision draw to Damon Blackshear. They cut him. We're good. So here we go. Edwin Chavez, Jake Childers, round 1 knockout. Took a kickboxing match, then an arm triangle. And this arm triangle here really turned around. Comes back, he fights Billy Q. This is the fight that we analyzed. You should go check it out. He fights Jarno Aarons. Like, no, okay. Jack Shore. That's a really good win. Calvin Kattar, huge step up. Now Josh Emmett. But notice what happens here. So he's from Morocco. He's a kickboxer. Flying knee knockouts. You know, fought on LFA. Fought and had a really close fight with Ilia Topuria. Now, it was Ilia's debut on 2 weeks' notice, but still. But notice this. Submission, 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 decision, submission. Guys, Youssef Zalal is a scary fighter. Okay? 5 submissions in his 6 fights back. The one was that boring decision to Calvin Kattar. Granted, It was a decision that he won. He was a striker, unceremoniously cut. I was going to say he lost to good fighters, but like Sean Woodson was okay. Ilia Topuria, obviously, he would be great. Don't let those rose-tinted glasses like fool you, though. Like, that was not the Ilia Topuria that we saw. But he is a featherweight, and he's reinvented himself. He's scary now. He can piece people apart like Calvin Kattar for, I think that was a 5-rounder. Long enough, at least. He can piece Calvin Kattar apart. Or he could just sub people now. Like, he is the complete package. And that's awesome. Because I really, 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 really like him. And what's crazy is, like, Josh Emmett doesn't get taken down all that often. Like, he's generally a good fighter. And a lot of people are, like, scared to kind of wrestle with him because he's got such power. And if you get close enough, like, he's going to turn your lights off. Zalal did so with ease. Got in on a single and turned the corner and got him down. I do think part of it is, like, Josh Emmett's inactivity. He fights once a year. He's fought, like, twice since 2022. He's 25, almost 26 now. He said he trained his power, not his takedown defense, is what he probably should have. I do think Josh Emmett is a bit on the wash side, unfortunately. Patricio Pitbull called out Youssef Zalal. That's a good name, and that would be a fun fight to see him fight, but I do think Youssef Zalal does deserve better. Featherweight needs more contenders, and you got, like, Diego Lopez and stuff out there. You got Movsar Evloev, who's ready for a title shot, and then Lerone Murphy. He called out Lerone Murphy. I like that fight, too, but I really think like a Aljamain Sterling, Yair Rodriguez, or even a Jean Silva would be an interesting fight for him. Like, Jean Silva would have to bring out the chaos. That is a fun fight. Give me that. Inject that right into my veins, boys, because I love it. But yeah, that's the fight to make, I think, because Youssef Zalal is a promising fighter, but we do need to see him take a step up. Like, maybe a Diego Lopez, but like definitely like a Yair Rodriguez or an Aljamain Sterling. But then again, like, Sterling deserves a title shot-ish. So, who knows what we'll see. Opening up the main card was Joe Pyfer and Abus Magomedov. I think that was opening. Regardless. Anyways, Joe Pyfer, I'm not real big on him. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. He's actually an obnoxious person. And he won by second round rear naked choke. That said, he did get punked by Abus Magomedov in the first round. How do you get wrestled by Abus Magomedov? How? And, like, somebody on X was like, oh yeah, I said you got punked by Abus. You're not a prospect. And he was like, what about now? After he got submitted, you don't go get punked by Abus Magomedov on the ground and call yourself a product. His BJJ now, his jiu-jitsu is better than what I thought. He did some really cool things. But yeah, he's not the prospect everybody wants him to be. No. Not even close. What else happened on this card, fellers? Let's go back. UFC 320. It's crazy how far we've come, right? Youssef Zalal, Joe Pyfer. Atiba, Gauthier, Tristan Vines. That fight was a garbage fight. Vines came in 3 days' notice. Gauthier was supposed to fight Ozzy Diaz. This guy just didn't know what he was doing, and it was pretty sad. Vines probably doesn't need to be in the UFC, if we're being honest. Gauthier, he's good, but I need to see more of him. What has he done in the UFC? Let's see here. Yeah, like, he's won some fights, but it's against people he should. Daniel Santos beat Yuju Sang. Interesting fight, actually. Sang was looking okay in the first round. He was kind of taunting him for spinning. There was a point where Daniel Santos took him down, and Sang's like this on there, and the crowd's loving it. Like, a bunch of really good showboating from you, but Santos eventually just catches him with a left hook early in the second round, comes out and bangs him out. So real good performance from Santos. Jakob Wallatz, I forget how they said his name. Jakob took on Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix, obviously coming off of his unceremonious UFC debut to Mario Batista, where he got styled on. This one, Jakob comes out, and I had Patchy Mix kind of winning this, but Jakob, he's a really good fighter, and he came out and did what he had to do against Patchy Mix. I gave Patchy that third round. I don't think you could really make the case, even though Patchy Mix kind of didn't do enough damage. That said, how old is Patchy? 32. He's washed, man. I mean, you can't be 32 at 135 and this timid. He's just fell into the same trap he did against Mario Batista. Edmund Shabazian beat Andre Muniz. Really good elbows from the top, ground and pound. Shabazian's okay. I wouldn't call him contender anymore, but it is middleweight, so who knows. Punahele Soriano beat Vereneketov, however you say that. Nikolay, so yeah, Puna gets another win. Yana Santos beat Macy Chasson. Macy Chasson is a Louisiana girl. I was pulling for her, but she missed weight, so I was like, I will abstain. And I am kind of happy that Yana Santos got the win, because I do not think we should be rewarding weight misses like Macy Chasson did. She missed by 2 pounds, or by a pound, technically. Sucks. I will pull for Macy Chasson next time, but like, stop missing weight, you know. Go to 145, which is obviously not the division anymore. Farid Basharat looked really good against Chris Gutierrez. Ramiz Bashman, however you say his name, submitted Austin Vanderfly. I missed this fight, but I thought Austin was going to come in and have a decent fight. Is Austin too old? Is that what his problem is? Is he in his? He's 35. Okay, yeah. Austin's not gonna. He decided to go with Bellator instead of the UFC, so he's never gonna really climb the ranks at 170. And then Veronica Hardy beat Brogdon Walker to open up the fight. So all in all, though, you know, UFC 320 delivered through and through. Alex Pereira is the champion again. Merab is the GOAT at his division. What more can you ask for? You could ask for Fight Finders 8. That's the description. If you want to check that out, there we go. Follow around the world of beach wrestling to kind of see what that sport's about. Furthering my mission of Fight Finders to see what every style of fighting combat sports is like in the world. Episode 8 out now, and it's one you guys will enjoy, so check it out.